if you don't want to, but the fake accounts
Oh my
that
God.
have been
Oh
out
my God.
there, that to the point that you've had to post screenshots of like, this is my Instagram. There is nothing
Right.
else. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Especially in the past few weeks, there's been like 15 new catfishes pop up. And like people have actually scammed people out of money pretending to be me because these people think they're going to go off and marry me and here's the money for them to come visit them. Like,
Oh.
holy shit,
Do
that's
you have
happened.
to, like, the FBI get involved in something
But
like
I
that?
mean,
Do you have to deal with the cops or anything?
I haven't had to deal with that. A lot of it's been in like other countries, so I can't really,
All right.
But honestly, I also can't feel too bad for someone who thought they were going to marry me because
Yeah, it's kind of
you're
dopey.
just not thinking.
No.
It does suck that the people are trying to like impersonate me, and I don't really get the point of what they're trying to get out of it, unless they're trying to scam people, because then I get it a little bit. But otherwise, it's just like too much time on your hands. Like, be your own
It's
person.
mind-blowing how weird people can be. I never knew until the internet came along. I was born before the internet, so I remember what the earth was like without it. And since like the way the internet is now, it's just like it exposes kind of who people are, like everywhere. You see, and it's like, God damn it, I can't believe how weird people are in some places. It's just strange. They do strange things, pretending to
Right.
be other people. What
Right?
is
And
that?
like they've even been like posting pictures of my dogs and stuff, and I'm like,
That's weird.
here, leave my dogs alone, fake me.
They got nothing to do with it. At least I know if we're ever in the same convention or something, and I say, hey, you want to hang out? I know it's you because I have your proper
Right.
information. You know, if we're ever in the same place, I don't know. Chief and I, we don't get out much. They don't let us out of our couches.
Aw.
Until C2E2, then Chief and I get to cut loose at C2E2.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be fun.
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
Everybody come to C2E2 this year because
yeah.
I'll be there.
Everybody come to just a quick plug. Everybody come to C2E2 and hang out with us because we're gonna be there tearing up the floor. So I see your PlayStation controller behind you.
Oh, yeah.
What have you been playing?
Honestly, I've been playing more Xbox lately because it is my system of choice. Like, I like them both. And lately I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay.
And I just started one of those. Which one is it? I was also just playing the Walking Dead New Frontier a little bit. Those games are upsetting.
Is that one of the Telltale games or is
Yeah,
that...
yeah.
Oh,
Telltale.
it's all the parts are compiled on that one.
Yeah.
Is it the one that? Oh, okay, that's the one they released in pieces or whatever.
Those games make me cry a lot.
I haven't played those. The only one I played of The Walking Dead was the Daryl one, the Survivor.
I heard that
And
one was really bad.
it used to freak me out because I had this surround sound on in my system, and you just hear the moaning and you don't know where it is, and it would just give me anxiety. I hated it.
It's funny,
it scared
like,
the shit out of me.
honestly, as someone who loves like horror movies and horror comics, I love horror comics too. I struggle with playing horror games. It's just, I don't know, a little too much.
Have you played Until Dawn?
I have not.
So, have you heard about that one? Because I haven't picked it up, but I've been thinking about it.
I'm sure I have, I just don't remember
So
much.
it's a bunch of teenagers in a cabin in the winter on a mountaintop.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of like you're watching a movie, but your action, it's kind of like picking your own adventure.
It's kind of a decision-making game.
I think the problem is I watched Mike Matei play the whole game, so I kind of know what buttons to press.
So it's kind of ruined, yeah.
Like,
That's not fun.
That's one reason I don't like watching gameplay stuff if I haven't played the game myself. I'll watch it after I've played it, but
Right. I like the storyline happening to me, not to someone else.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's why I like Resident Evil 7. I was a huge fan of Resident Evil 7. I thought that was just great, and we got downloadable content coming, Chief, in like a week.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. That was a good one. That was a different. It was like Resident Evil, but it was a little bit different, and it was more like really survival rather than getting loaded up with weapons and killing everything. You had to really figure out how to live because they didn't give you any weapons for like the first part of it. You just had to run from stuff.
It's kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a way. They took a lot of elements from Texas Chainsaw Massacre with like the backwoods family, and you're caught by them, and you gotta like get away from them. Recommended, Dolly. Recommended.
I don't know.
And new stuff
Me
coming.
and horror games are just We're not friends.
We should have had you on in October during Horror Fest. You could have geeked out on horror films with us. We'll have to.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head for next year's Horror Fest.
All right.
Because every year Horror Fest is our month-long horror extravaganza in October. So if you're a fan of horror movies, you're right up our alley because we love talking horror films. So, What are some of your favorite horror films? I don't think we ever talked about that.
Well, actually, I just completely fell in love with the most recent It. And
that was good. I saw that.
And while the storyline for the most recent Annabelle wasn't the greatest, that thing scared the shit out of me. Like, I was like, there was only one other person in the theater when I saw that, so it was like, ah. But it was like
that was better than the first one. I saw the Annabelle creation a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
I thought it was better than the first one, but
I didn't watch the first one because I heard bad things about it.
It was really goofy. There was one part of it I saw that in the theater too, and there was one. I went with my sister, and there was a part that came on, and it was it's when the doll, like, there's like a guy dressed like the devil, like holding the doll up and like shaking it, and it just struck me as so funny. I laughed at it, like I couldn't help it. I kind of laughed. And I looked, and my sister was laughing too. So I was like, "It's not just me. This is a piece of shit."
It really is goofy. Yeah. And hear good things about that. So.
Especially when you know that the real Annabelle doll was a Raggedy Ann doll. It wasn't like some porcelain doll. It was a Raggedy Ann doll.
Well, those always creeped me out as a kid. Like, I had a friend who had one in a basement, and I swear, like, every day it was in a different spot, and nobody had moved it, and we all thought it was haunted.
I hate those dolls. That Annabelle's still on display, though, I think, at the Warren Museum. She's still on display.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I mean, I do like that those are always, like, based on supposedly real things. Like, I think that gives it a little extra.
Yeah.
Like, the same with the Conjuring ones, right?
Yeah. They're in that same world.
Especially anything with the Warrens, because, like, Amityville was actually based on with the Warrens. And of course, then they blew Amityville out of I think the newest one's got Bella Thorne in it. I don't know. I don't know what that girl does. But, ooh, hello, phone call. But, no, like I said, we're big horror film fans. In fact, at some point, so we haven't. I'll let you in on this. Maybe you'll be interested sometime when you're not, out in LA and you got nothing to do, and you just want to come on with us. We are now doing film commentary tracks on our YouTube channel. So what we do is we get on, just like we're doing now. We watch a movie together and we basically make fun of it.
That sounds awesome.
So if you're ever down to join a special guest on making fun of some really bad movies.
Yeah, I love terrible movies.
Then you're gonna love the one we're gonna drop this week. Oh, it is amazing.
What is it?
Chief, would you like to tell her what this week's movie is that we just did the other night?
What was it, from '88? I think it's from '88. I can't remember if it's
1988.
It's a Predator ripoff called Robo War, and it's I don't know. I can't tell where it's made. I don't know what country it's supposed to be in, but it's a killer robot versus Red Brown, the old Captain America from the '70s, and it's him and like a group of guys like in Predator, and they fight a robot in the jungle, and it's really low budget, and it's almost like a scene for scene remake of Predator, but on a really low budget.
Nice.
It's really funny.
It's hilarious because half the movie it's like they don't know what they're going after. And then they come across, like, they're in the jungle. I mean, they're, like, in the jungle. All of a sudden, they find, like, a road and a bridge and telephone poles, and they gun down a bunch of people with no reason whatsoever. Then they're back in the jungle hunting this thing again, and it's hilarious.
You just don't know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on. So we've done that one. We've done one called Psychotronic Man.
All right.
Which is... A guy realizes he has psychotronic powers, but the movie never explains why he has them, how he got them, or anything like that.
He just has them.
He just has them. We've done.
Well, I just thought that one was funny because they shot the entire thing in Chicago, which is like I'm right here by Chicago, and I kind of know like everywhere they are going in the movie. So it was really funny, and the guy just has like the thickest Chicago accent you ever heard. And I thought it was just funny just for that reason. But it's funny because he has psychotronic powers too. But
and then we've done Gargoyles from 1979.
Nice.
And The Legend of Bigfoot, which is an old documentary by the great Ivan Marks, a man who another man who scammed people out of a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we watch these movies, we make fun of them, and then we put them on YouTube. We give people the links to where they can watch the movies. They sync it up with us on the track, and you just watch the movie and listen to us rip the movie a new one. So you are invited whenever you want to come on. I think we've got we're gonna do Bullet to the Head with Sylvester Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do the Bad Jaws movies.
Yes.
So if you want to come on for some bad shark related movies, we're gonna do those 3 and 4. Yeah.
I love the terrible Jaws special effects. They're my favorite.
We'll bring you on for.
The number 3 is the best.
We'll bring you on for Jaws 3D. How about that one?
Okay.
When we'll probably be in the next couple of weeks, maybe before Christmas. I don't know. We'll sync everything up between our schedules and yours. But yeah, we'd love to have you on there just to make fun of a movie, and we just, like I said, we get on there, we watch it together, and we make fun of it.
Sounds like a good time.
We're trying to please. We're trying to please. So on your Twitter, you said that you love horror comics.
Mm-hmm.
So are we talking modern day horror comics? Are we talking maybe some old Marvel horror books?
I'm mostly just an indie comic girl, so
right.
I like the modern ones. I really like Scott Snyder's Witches. That's probably my favorite one.
A good friend of ours, actually, Scott Snyder. He's a friend
Really?
of ours. Yeah,
oh, that's awesome. I think he's great.
Witches is fantastic, and they've been doing a thing. I think in if you get whenever you go to your shop, in the magazine previews, they Image usually has like an insert, and he's had like a couple like new witches stories in these inserts in the previews magazines.
And I heard it's starting up again, like full scale. So I'm really excited about that. I also really like the Nailbiter series. I'm only partway through it, but
I was reading that at the beginning. I fell off of it, but the first couple arcs were really intriguing to me.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I also really like Outcast. Trying to think what other ones. My comic shop is over there. I could go look. Yeah, those are probably the ones I like the most. There was like another one by Scott Snyder I really liked too, and it was just
Was it The Wake?
Oh, I like that one as well, but no, it was was Severed him? Or was that someone else?
Did Scott do Severed? Let me check.
I can't remember. I could be getting that totally wrong, but I liked Severed a lot.
No, I read Severed too. I can't remember.
Like, should I text? Hey, Scott, did you do Severed? Yes, he did Severed. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I like that one too. I think Scott is one of my favorites at horror. So
he's a very, if you ever get to meet Scott, like I said, he's a friend of ours. He's an amazing guy. He's very nice to everybody that he meets. He is just generally a nice guy, and we owe Scott a lot, so we can never talk too much good stuff about Scott because we owe him a lot.
Yeah.
He got us DC access.
Oh yeah.
Oh nice.
Oh yeah. In fact, I know you said you're indie. He's writing a really fantastic event at DC right now.
Yeah.
Called Metal, and it is amazing. It's the darkest.
It involves the heroes in the Justice League and everything, but it's really dark and it's really more horror. It's like a horror arc in the Justice League, and it's really good.
Well, I'll have to check it out. I love everything horror, so.
Basically, he's written it to where there's the dark multiverse, and there's a different Batman on each dark multiverse, but they're kind of like dark, twisted images of the Justice League, but they're all Batman. So one is like the dark, twisted Batman who's also the Flash, and there's one who's Aqua. Oh, it's brilliant. And then there's one called the Batman Who Laughs. And
the Joker?
That one is that one is like the darkest one that they wrote so far. That one, he does something so dark. I mean, it's insane.